With over 50% of marriages ending in divorce, the institution of marriage carries a high level of inherent risk. Despite the promise of lifelong commitment, the reality is that many marriages falter. In today's society, where individualism and personal freedom are highly valued, it's worth questioning whether marriage is still a wise decision for individuals seeking long-term happiness and fulfillment. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, welcome back to Washington, D.C. We are at the Capitol where laws are made here in the U.S. This is the most powerful branch of government in the country. But let's talk about power, let's talk about laws, let's talk about feelings and our hearts. The whole point of this video is to basically have a discussion about marriage and relationships. Is marriage worth it today in 2023? If so, why not? So I have two other YouTubers here. We have Heidi.
Hey guys, this is Los Heidi. I'm not just gonna be posting when I'm happy and doing party. I mean, you're gonna get a flu or whatever. So for me, it's like, for me, I'm always cold, so I always wear this kind of hoodies.
Visiting from Colombia, and then we have Backpack Mo here.
Mo. What's up, everybody? What's
Who's
going
from
on?
Virginia.
I'm Backpack Mo. Going in many different countries, seeing delicacies, things that people may seem strange or weird. I've opened my palate to almost everything out there. Yeah. Beautiful, right?
True, right?
Yes, right. Yeah. And like I said, there's not a lot of people here right now, so we have, pretty much the park almost to ourselves. Yes, sir.
So subscribe to both their channels. Links will be on the description. So, what do you guys think? Is marriage worth it? Let me start with Mo. What do you think? Today's society, given all the different challenges that men have, women have, and the traveling and the cost and the divorce rates and the child support laws and all these problems that you're quite aware of. Okay. What do you think? Is marriage worth it?
Perfect. Okay, so that's a lot itself as well. Me being here, living in the U.S., and I would just not to speak for myself, but I think I can speak for a lot of not just men and even women too as well. Times have changed. You know what I mean? The tradition of courting someone and marrying them to bring on a family has changed.
We're not going to see eye to eye on this issue. We're just not. Our tests in life are different. A woman's test in life is material. A man's test in life is a woman.
All right. Me, I can speak from my personal experience. To dive in a little bit of my own personal thing, I was married before, and I'm now divorced, single. At the time when I got married, of course, you want to marry for the right reasons, love and start a family, things like that, and things necessarily didn't work out that way. But for me, I don't probably see myself ever getting married again.
Okay, but why?
And a reason before that is because some of those things that you alluded to earlier, getting a divorce is not the easiest path to do.
Yes.
It's kind of hard for somebody to go their separate ways, or
yes.
this person to go that way.
Right.
Especially if there's children involved too as well.
Mm-hmm.
Become a more messy thing as well. The legal system in the U.S.
It's tough, right?
It's tough.
And fellas, did you know when you get a divorce, you are legally and financially responsible for her attorney's fees and yours? She don't pay a dime. And a divorce can take anywhere from 1 to 3 years to finalize. I was a year and a half in, and I was $175K in lawyer fees, and the meter was still running. So ladies, when you think that men don't want to get married because we're afraid of commitment.
But I was just gonna say, if you don't have any kids, you don't have to deal with child support and all that stuff. What is so difficult about getting a divorce, and why is it such a nasty thing that leads to you saying, for example, you don't think you would do it again?
Okay, yeah. So for a lot of people, especially when you feel like you've built something, on your own, as a male, a lot of these things can be taken away from you, even though you've built your own wealth. You've had these things, they can be stripped from you, and these are life-changing things that could happen. Unfortunately for me, I didn't have to deal with any of that stuff. But for some other people, I mean, it becomes more about just you going your way and you going that way.
Yeah.
Things change, and it's difficult. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not to talk about like material things. You know what I mean? These are things that just can affect somebody's life even years after, however long the alimony may be, or the financial things, child support, or things like that.
Okay.
Get involved. So it's harder. especially here in the U.S.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's for just people to kind of go their own ways.
Yes.
Even getting a lawyer involved, that costs money. You know,
Yes.
some people I think the U.S. coined the phrase it's cheaper to keep her. Yes.
It's cheaper to keep her, 100%.
Right. And that
Yeah.
goes deeper than that. You know
That's
what I mean?
right. And generally in America, men make more money than women. So in general, the men will bear the cost of the divorce.
That's right.
And that will be a painful experience and can be even worse if you have children. So Heidi, you are from Colombia. Are Colombians today getting married more or less than before? Man, let's wait for these kids to go by.
Right. Speaking about children, right?
Think about children. Here they are right here.
Right, yeah. You don't want this problem.
Yeah, man.
Uh-huh.
Man, here they are, man.
Yeah.
And you see how it was quiet, and when they come, it's noisy? That's precisely what you got to deal with. You know what I'm saying? This is the perfect metaphor to this.
You're a kid also.
All right. So today in Colombia, are most Colombian women under pressure to get married by their family, society, culture? Or would you say, from your experience and your friends, would you say that women today in Colombia in the, let's say, 30s and 40s don't care to get married, or what's going on?
I think like as much as say like this perspective has changed a lot. So for example, like if you go to Colombia, you go big cities, I think girls now we have our own jobs, you know, like there's a lot of single ladies, you know, having a dog, and it's okay because you have the money just to afford that kind of lifestyle.
Are you saying men are being replaced by dogs?
No, I'm not saying that, but it's like you decide as a single woman, like you don't have like before, like women, they depend on the money of the husband.
Yes.
So for now, like us, we make our own decisions. But of course, like family, you know, these cultural issues, like okay, when you're gonna get married, you're gonna be the single, you know, aunt and the family. Like what
Yes.
about kids? But I think now it's changing a lot. Like for example, in the country, or from my perspective, I would be like 50-50%. Like
Yes.
50, I want to get married. 50, I don't want to get married.
Yes.
Because actually, I just had that conversation with a friend of mine, and she said that whenever you live as a single lady, you have to pay more because houses and actually expenses are better if you share.
Yeah.
And the spaces are for a couple.
Yes.
So whenever you're not having a couple, so you have to pay more, like for your rent, for your, you know, whatever the fees they come with it. I don't feel like the pressure, like maybe in my family, but society, for me as a woman, they make you pressure. So sometimes you hesitate, like, should I or should I not get married?
Right.
And also like, okay, maybe it's not that complicated like here in America, like getting married. But for example, if you are in Colombia, it happens a lot that you get married 2 years after you get a divorce.
Yeah.
And you have to go through a whole, you know, legal process.
Right.
Okay, could be that not expensive, but it's like, it's
Yeah.
a lot. It's,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So from my perspective, I don't think there's a point to get married unless you want kids, because you can write a will and make sure that if you pass away, your wife will take the house and cars and all these different things. So I don't know. And then he will not do this again. How do you feel? Do you see there's a point though, regardless of the family and societal pressures? Do you think is marriage worth it? And if so, why?
I think it is. I think it is, but I think it's a matter of you not being in a pressure. It's more like you making a responsible decision.
Okay.
Just not the way, oh, I just want to get married and I marry whoever is coming in, the
Yes.
first one, you know?
Yeah.
But I think it's worth it, and it's worth it when could be the couple have the same values a little bit.
Yes.
And maybe you aim the same goals. But if not, I think it's gonna be complicated because nowadays, like, you know, you change people easy.
Yeah.
So you just go on apps like Tinder, Bumble,
Yeah.
Circle, whatever, and then you just get to the next. You don't, you don't fit, you don't match, okay, you go to the next.
Yeah.
So I think it's more like your own choice, but 100% sure people don't want to get married. Like,
Right.
it's very complicated.
And there's no child support in Colombia, right?
There is no what? Child support.
support, so
Of
if
course, yeah, we have that.
There's child support?
Yeah, of course, the moment you get, but it's complicated because these guys, they have no money, they're poor, so what are you gonna take out of them?
Hey, I love Colombia, guys. I'm just curious. We have a Colombian here, so we need to find out. But it's very common for, you know, a lot of women to get pregnant very young in Colombia. The number is skyrocketing.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, like, so guys really don't have any pressures then. I mean, they have kids and they don't, I mean, it's on the books, but it's not enforced. They don't, like,
If you want to go, you can go to the legal process, but as I say, if the guy has nothing, what are you supposed to get? I mean, he can go to jail, but
Yeah.
they don't even care, like.
yeah.
Because
Because,
if you have like 10 kids already, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, what am I supposed to do? Like,
yeah. And one thing that's also common here, when a woman has education and money, she will say something like, I don't need men. I don't need you. It's a common thing. So is it a thing that Colombian women with education and money say as well? I don't need a man.
I don't think we like that strict. But
Yeah.
I think it's a matter of choice. Like now we say, okay, I'm gonna say something that could be a little bit, you know, problematic. But like women nowadays, we make more money than guys.
In Colombia?
So yeah, so
Okay.
sometimes you go there and then it's like, okay, I have to pay for his chat, and I don't want to do that. So it's like, it's an option. Like actually it is.
So if you make more, are you expecting a man that makes the
At least
same
the
or more?
same or
But
more.
not less?
No, because then you cannot afford your same quality lifestyle.
But men date women that make less money all the time. This has been the tradition forever.
Yeah, but I'm a woman, sorry. Like,
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
No, I totally agree with what she said too as well. As to you said, you know, that's always been the way. A man, in a sense, believes that they can always lift a woman up, right? But a woman's never going to have to believe, especially if she's already there where she wants to be at.
Yes.
She's not going to try to drag a man up to her level because
Yes.
too much. Because at some point, if you get a family, then you have also to take care of the family.
Yes.
And maybe because we try to, you know, take care, protect, or just to, I don't know, just, you know, taking a guy and just, yeah, as you said, lifting the guy up. It's
Yes.
like, it's too much work.
Yes.
You don't want that, I think.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
No way. Okay.
Like feminism has brought women to a point where they're able to take care of themselves. Women being self-sufficient and not needing a man in their life to provide for them. Therefore, not having the need to have sexual relationships with men.
Well, let's get through the walk as we share more about this. So another question that I have for you guys is these divorce laws. It seems like there were so many things that were done wrong in the past against women, and things have changed now in a way that they are willing to really, it feels like the man gets crushed in the divorce proceedings, man, especially if there's kids involved. 9 times out of 10, you won't have custody. And I think that's the thing that makes a lot of men afraid to actually get married, is the fact that you can actually lose it all if things go south. And you know, most of the time, even here in the US, I mean, not like in Colombia, she said women make more. I think in the US, men generally make more money than women still today.
correct. Yeah.
And when you have, the more you have to lose, the less likely you are to get married. And I think that's why you have the marriage rate is decreasing by 60%. That's a big deal. In a time where we have Tinder, Bumble, all these apps, there's more loneliness going on.
Well, they say 1 is the loneliest number, and a new study alleges that living alone is enough to dub D.C. the loneliest city in the U.S.
But you think that's because of the divorce rate, or is because society dynamics they are changing?
I think it's both. I think that the dynamics are definitely changing, but I also think that people are more aware of what they can lose if things don't work out. And people are more comfortable living together without getting married. Like, I'm still asking, what is it that marriage gives you, unless you want kids? What is it that signing that paper do?
It's
Like,
just symbolic. It's a symbolic thing, because it doesn't matter which ritual you go through.
Yeah.
But if you go to Catholic marriage, okay, but it's just something definitely symbolic.
Yeah.
I mean, legal from the, at least you are Kardashian or something like that, then that's important. but if you're not, let's say you have nothing, just like, you know, furniture, what's the point? It's completely symbolic.
Yes, yes.
No, totally agree. And I think a lot of men think that too as well. It's like, okay, I have everything, right? So back in the day, right, a king used to have, you know, dominion. He used to have, like, you know, cattle. He has to have all these things, right? And all he needed was a woman to, you know, make his life happy now,
Yes.
right? And it's like, well, what is she giving me? Like, what am I gaining out of this, you know, relationship too,
Right.
as well? Especially if I already have all these materialistic things, or
Right.
these things that necessarily make me happy.
Right.
What am I really getting on the end of it? You know
Yes.
what I mean? So it's a for some people it's right. You know what I mean? For some people it is. But for me personally, if you're just asking me, it's like, well, where are we meeting at, and what do you have to necessarily
Yeah.
offer me?
Yeah.
You know, I talked to a priest like 2 weeks ago. He came into the restaurant, and he was saying that the marriage rate, right, since the pandemic, right, is low down, right?
Right.
You know, the pandemic was a huge thing, so it was a financial burden on the world too as well. And the birth rate is down, so people are having less kids, and people are not even getting married. You know, maybe living together per se, but that those are two factors that have
Yeah.
changed the world itself.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, you know.
One of the leading causes of divorce in the US is financial difficulties.
Yes.
It's not even cheating or anything,
Right,
like most
right,
people
right.
think. Financial issues, financial stresses. And in the world where, like in Colombia, women make more, and women are not likely to date lower than them.
Yeah.
Man, there's gonna be a lot of lonely men in Colombia. I mean, think about it. If the trends continue, and women are more selective in a way,
But actually now you see more guys at home like doing housewifing somehow.
and that's okay in the Colombian
And that's
society.
okay. I mean, that's okay. But you know, it's like this macho ego thing. Like, oh, you're taking care of the kids, and she's working.
Yeah.
So it's like roles they just change, and
Yes.
could be a little bit messy for guys' head.
Yes.
Because they don't want that. I mean, they don't want to be in that position.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know. At some point, we need just to put this in an equilibrium
Yes.
phase. But for me, I mean, the last question would be like, will you get married again?
For me, honestly, I would say no, and maybe not in the U.S. You know,
I was just gonna ask you
maybe not in the U.S. And you never know what life is. I mean, you're asking me right now today, of course. You know, what I mean, there's no particular suitors that I'm trying to. You know what I mean? Like ladies out there.
Like
don't-
you just get in love, you say, okay, I just want to get married.
But not in the U.S.
Not in the
You know what I
US.
mean? And I wouldn't go to the whole process of we had to go to a church, we had to go see a priest. We would just probably just say it amongst, have that bond between each other, and just have the understanding.
Yeah.
And that would be it. I don't need to announce it to the whole world that you know here we are together. So.
Yeah. But the ladies want that white dress, Mo. They want that white dress. Sometimes it's about the dress. It's not even about
They
you.
want the dress.
They want that dress.
They want the engagement ring.
Yes.
They want the wedding ring.
Yes.
And they want the dress. And
Yes.
they want to be the bridezilla.
That's right.
Then the list gets bigger.
Yeah.
The ring.
She's gonna
500
tell you
people
you're not
into the-
romantic, you don't love her
wedding,
if you don't put on that dress,
It
man.
seems like you wish to be a girl right now.
No.
All right. Well, let me end this, guys. This is just a little conversation about relationship in general. Are we meant to be with one person forever? Do you think, that's the way it's supposed to? Because we change. Like I can talk about me, for example. I'm not like I used to be 10 years ago, right? We're constantly evolving. So if you're constantly changing, and your girlfriend or wife is constantly changing, are you meant to be together forever? What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, do I believe that everyone has someone out there for them? Probably, yes. The world's big enough. There's enough people out there.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I like the way that my life is now. You know what I mean? I like being able to engage with several different people. You know what I mean?
Right.
And not necessarily being constricted or tied down to that.
Yes.
And I believe that the person should be able to have the freedom to me.
Yes.
I may be able to provide certain needs that somebody else may
Yes.
not be able to do it. So that's the way I kind of look at it.
What do you think? Are we meant to be with one person forever?
I think no. Like at some point, I mean, that's the purpose of marriage.
Right.
When you get married, you think, okay, this is our
Forever.
whole life
Yes.
until you die. But no, I think we're changing. I wouldn't stick to that argument. Like, okay, we have to be. I think you are together with the person.
Yeah.
The time you're meant to be.
Yes.
It could be painful. It could be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't take that decision. But it's like
Yeah.
the way you have to learn. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like,
Yeah,
I would
no,
do
that's
it.
true. That's true.
Life short.
If you don't
It's
feel
for sure.
happy where you want to be, unhappy the next 20 years.
100%.
So-
And that's why I like Friends, because they have this process called pacts, where you can actually live with your girlfriend and have the same benefits that married couples do. And you can split, and you just split without involving lawyers and courts and all this stuff in the separation.
Yeah, I think in the U.S., if you live with somebody for a certain amount of duration of time, and
They
some other
consider you
countries too,
married.
they consider you married. Yes.
Yeah.
So I think Brazil, if you live with someone for 3 years,
Yeah.
you get the same benefits
Yes.
as well.
Yeah.
Colombia is the same.
Colombia, the same thing.
Yeah, we have after 2 years, actually, you have the same benefits of getting married.
Yes.
Like legally.
Yes.
Talking, so.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, I hope you got at least some perspective. Let me know what you think about marriage. Personally, again, I don't believe it's worth it unless you
But
want
as we
kids.
just say, it's worth the pain.
Unless you want kids, man. I don't think. I mean, in the U.S., I have to admit, if I live in another country with different laws, I would think differently. But people watching this from Africa or anywhere else where divorce laws and policies are pro-men, you guys might feel very differently because it's very common in Africa to have many kids, right? You can have 3, 4, no worries. Here, even
And
one,
wives.
man.
Yeah.
You're gonna, you can even have more than one
More
wife,
wives, yeah, uh-huh.
Not in America, but baby, you're gonna pay the price.
Right.
You're gonna pay the price. So, just wanted to discuss this. Drop some comments. Let me know the divorce laws in your countries. What you guys think of this conversation. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks to Mo for sharing your perspective about this. Thanks to Lost Heidi. Welcome to Washington. Hope you
Thank
enjoy
you.
your time here. And yeah, see you guys on the next one. Peace.